But in a community like this, you can learn and grow and network because we're in a people business. Come here and work with us. We'll help you be a better version of yourself, because once you are better at what you do, your business and your life will become better altogether.
One thing I like about this is that the accessibility. Here is opportunity for anyone who's listening that we are accessible.
Education is something we're taught that we focus on heavily because we believe that by providing relevant and relatable educational information, people can come to learn and better themselves. All right, so this to mark the video, today is February 7, 2024, and I have in my recording studio on Riverside is Madam Chairwoman Helen Yung. Along on the other side of Riverside, we have Anh Long Dong, one of our VNARP National Advisory. So welcome to the call. Finally, we have been talking about this type of platform, something that we can actually record back some of our track record and also talk about, where we have been and where we're going. This is a perfect platform for us as VNARP National to start documenting some of the things that we've been doing, working in the background. And, everyone is so good at doing something, but not everyone good as a storyteller. And here at VNARP, to create a platform that we can create a better tomorrow by developing leadership that can help lead VNARP to the next level, we need an outlet where we can plug in and share some of the things we're doing. So I'm very excited today to have on the call. We have Helen here and Anh Long, and really excited to talk about some of the topics that what VNARP National has been working in the background since the inception and until today, where we have evolved it to a very strong board of director national and 3 chapters strong. So first and foremost, welcome, and to Helen and Long. Maybe I'll give Helen first to talk about yourself and say hi to the audience.
Hi, everyone. I'm really happy and honored to be here today to share this wonderful platform at VNARP. I really believe in VNARP. That's why I'm here. And so, Anh Long, up to you. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you for a quick throwback right at me. Yes, as a lot of you guys probably know history of VNARP. Evan was one of the first founders, and it's been growing, and we are very excited to take it to the next level. And Helen and I have had the opportunity now to join the leadership team. So we're very excited to be here to help in any way that we can.
But before we get to more about VNARP, let's talk about our credentials. Okay. So I want to talk about a little bit about myself, and I'm going to have you introduce yourself. My name, I'm a broker associate here at Keller Williams in Silicon Valley. Been in the business for about 20 years strong, background in real estate investment. Start my career earlier in the year as in the lending industry, and then moved myself forward to the dark side of real estate, and love it ever since. But what I meant is that I have worn many hats in the industry to learn, to have enough knowledge that I think I have relevant information to share back. Hopefully develop leaders that can follow me in this industry. And Helen?
I grew up in commercial real estate. I worked with this huge company, a very big REIT, real estate investment trust called Boston Properties. I've been with them over 30 plus years in various capacity. I was in asset management. I was in institutional asset, and also I was in leasing. And then my last position with them was with the head of the whole department of lease administration to administer the leases. But one of the things, opportunity I get to do is I was with the Commercial Real Estate Women's Group. I was the president there, and also with the ACP, Asian Commercial Professional. And so Evan asked me to give back to the community, and I'm very honored to be here. And I just told Evan earlier, he changed my life by making me work, but also at the same time, I get to meet so many wonderful people like Anh Long and Mindy and all those people down in Southern California. So I think I became alive, even though I left corporate about 5-6 years ago. But today, here and now, thanks to this guy, I'm very happy, and thank you so much for including me in part of your journey with VNARP. And I'm very excited. There's a lot of things going on, and my partner in crime, Anh Long, and I've been, brainstorming and really set the tone for the next a year to 5 years. So we've been working really hard, unbeknownst to you. So that's my credential for now. Giving back. I still have my real estate license. I think I have one of the oldest one, 00833.
Ooh.
So That's pretty good, right?
That's pretty good. Oh, yeah.
So that's over 30 years.
Not too many of those around.
Yeah, 00833.
That's awesome.
Well, for me, I'm like in between. I'm a little bit younger than G. Helen. Won't say how much. I'm a little bit older than Evan. So I'm kind of that hybrid too. I'm a recovering mortgage guy as well. My first 15 years I was on the mortgage side. My last 19's in real estate. Also own title company in California, some other state called escrow. Been in insurance. Had an insurance company. So the whole thing. Been leasing. I got into real estate as a foreclosure guy. So I work with a lot of asset managers, institutional buyers, sellers, the whole thing. So I get to experience a wide range of the real estate space. And currently, I have a partner, but we own a real estate firm here in Minnesota with almost 800 agents. We're the number one independently owned in Minnesota, the fastest growing in Minnesota, and according to Real Trends, who track this kind of stuff, the third fastest growing firm in America in the last 5 years. We just went into Florida, looking at growing to multiple states. We'll stay out of California for a little while now because I got a lot of good friends there, so I don't want to have to compete with you guys. But I love it, and I found out Evan and I go way back from RER Day, which is the Asian Realtor Association of America. That's where we met. I knew about his vision and his startup with this, and I'm very excited now to be a part of this journey, like G. Helen, and we are all here to help take VNARP to the next level, and we have great people in the leadership team that I'm very excited about.
Now, speaking of a startup, it's perfect transitions to why VNARP. Back in 2014, I was the president of REA Silicon Valley here. And that's where I met Antam for the first time. Oh. And Antam walked up to me after an event that I put together as a luxury event. And Antam say, Evan, this is so good. Can you do this in the Vietnamese community? Wow. We're kind of connected after that event. So I think this is a perfect podcast, perfect platform. It's the genesis podcast of VNARP. So I think it's very appropriate for me to share the story. So at that time, I was very not connected with the Vietnamese community. Grew up in America, live in predominantly non-Asian area. So I had to literally, I was disconnected from Vietnamese community. I didn't have too many Vietnamese clients at the time. So started connect with Antam and connect with a few individuals. And we start meeting up. We had the one meeting. It wasn't, I guess that's the meeting that was found VNARP, if you will.
Wow.
The one meeting that, and we call it the brainstorm session, where we sat down and we're like, okay, let's talk about some of the problems that we're facing in our community. Here in San Jose, where VNARP was found, particularly, we talk about things that we're not so happy about seeing on the newspaper, right? We're not so proud of being Vietnamese when we hear that these names associated with a Vietnamese practitioner who have malpractice or have misrepresented client, if you will, some of these things. And we'll go around the room and say, any idea on how to improve, how to change these things. At the leader of ARIA at the time, we put together a lot of quality educational event, but we didn't see a lot of Vietnamese brokerage coming out of the wood and attending these classes. So how can you improve one another if you don't go out and learn and share? And Vietnamese people are known for a few things, right? And you guys know this. We're very smart, we'll work hard, but we have a problem working together.
Exactly.
You see what I mean? And that's when we found that, hey, we cannot fix everyone else's problem, but we can start from within, right? So we need to create something that we can lead by example. We can come together, start opening our doors, share our trade and secrets. How to recruit 800 agents, how to build a brand new real estate office, how to get REOs out of town, right? So all these things were like hot button topics, but Vietnamese real estate brokerages in particularly didn't come out of the wood. And I remember going to ARIA and say, why do you need to start another organization? ARIA is already Asian focused organization. And my simple answer was, our Vietnamese community is still very young and we're somewhat sensitive. Right. So to penetrate a market and a community that's rather sensitive, you have to stay laser focused. Right. You have to create events, an education event that, we know it's good for them, but we want them to come. How good of a book writer are we if no readers? We need them to start reading it. Right. So then the idea started exchange. Then we're like, okay, then we need to form a nonprofit organization. So we start searching around and there isn't one. There's one prior to VNARP. That is more Asian Vietnamese focused, that dedicated for real estate industry, but they weren't around at the time. So we started to go back and reach out to those old leaders who found that organization and asked them to join. And we had a few. Back Phong Chung is one of the founder of that original Vietnamese group, who actually joined and become one of the founding members as well as one of our advisory. So we got all the Godfather involved, and we're like, okay, we want to start this organization, but what makes VNARP gonna be 10 years old or last long? Like, how do we start an organization that's gonna last?
Right.
And we want to learn from all the problems from the regional organization, because I told you guys already, Vietnamese people have problem working together.
Exactly.
So, we started with our bylaws. We started recruiting quality people, the people that selflessly want to give back to the community. And until today, mark our almost 8-year mark, almost 9-year mark, actually. We all surround ourselves with quality people who actually wants to give back to our community. Right. And that 2015, we found VNARP.
Very impressive, very impressive. And I really appreciate that you kept with it and you don't just, give up, because you can easily give up. And that's the same issue I find, because I've been always working with the American, commercial real estate people and all. It's not very often I work with the Vietnamese. And I see that when they work with the Vietnamese, like you said, they're on their own, their own club, their own agenda. And so I find that's hard. But ever since I joined VNARP, I see the camaraderie, the friendship, and, meet people like Long. And there is something there. I can't place what it is, but there's something there that just energizes you, that wants me, at least myself, to continue doing better and doing more things. Because I said, okay, I remember I told you I'll just do it for a year and then I'm out of here. But then 3 years later, I'm still here. That's because the passion is there. And the one thing I have to tell you I want to share this with you, is I see it in you and Paige and everyone and Jeff, is you guys are young, but you're very passionate. And that you cannot buy. Okay. You have to have the passion. And I always tell you that the passion within the VNARP group is unbelievable. Don't you find that in Long?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all have started business before, right? Many of us, and very few that last this long, let alone a nonprofit. I think you run some stat, you'll see only small percentage of company actually last like 3, 4, 5 years, right? So it's an amazing job to keep it going. And now I'm even more excited that it's grown to the part now we're ready to get it almost global. So that's very exciting to be a part of.
And it is, thanks to VNARP platform, is attract quality people like yourself and the people that listening to this podcast that cares enough to share this podcast. Because at the end of the day, we didn't find VNARP just to start another club, or we didn't find VNARP just for us. We found VNARP because we needed a platform that we can agree to and come together. And I remember going out to all these people and say, hey, like Helen, I found Helen at a wheelchair foundation, and she was really good at what she does. She's still doing it now. So it didn't take her away from that. If anything, we're collaborating, help her more even. But I found Helen. I say to Helen, I think that was like 5-6 years into VNARP. And I say, I need seasoned people like you to come in and can actually whip us to shape. Because as a young organization, we did what we could to get it up and running. But at this point, we need infrastructure.
Exactly. That's how hopefully I can be of help with that, is the infrastructure. I was very surprised when I first joined their board meeting in 2019, and Will came up to me and goes, and he said, he's the treasurer. He goes, our balance sheet is, $400 or $500. And I look at him and I go, okay, what about accounts receivable, accounts payable? And he looked at me like I was some alien. I go, what are you talking about? I said, well, you just can't have a balancing account. You got to have, don't you have something that's coming in or a thing? So that's when I said, boy, you guys need infrastructure. That's why I hopefully I'm of some help by doing the bylaws work with and James Kim. I'll get a wonderful bylaws for all the chapters. And then also, hopefully we started 6 months ago working with Jung to do our strategic plan. I thought that would start a strategic plan. That was like very important, the strategic plan. And of course, we recruited you, very important person in Long.
Yeah.
A very important person, I should say.
And I totally agree. I'd like to add to that, because like any businesses, right? Because most of the people who listen to this podcast are probably entrepreneur or business of some sort in real estate, whatever platform you're at. you realize that even if you work with a team or a brokerage or a company, you still is an entrepreneur. You're starting your own business. And most businesses, we start out as entrepreneur and we build a business to a point where we realize we're capped out because we don't have the right process system in place to take it to the next level. So the cool thing about VNAP I found is if we can all learn and share together how to do that while we're growing VNAP, will be, as Evan said, set the example while actually doing it. If we can grow VNAP, we can share those secrets, how we grow that, so you can actually learn and use that in your own personal business, wherever you're from, to grow your business. Because most of us will get to a certain point and we realize we can't do it all, right? And we don't have the right infrastructure, system, process, and that's where VNAP has gone. It's gone as far as it can. Now, what used to work for VNAP 2, 3, 4, 5 years ago won't work for the next 4 or 5 years if we want to go to the next level. And Evan have done a great job recruiting the right people now around to really take VNAP to the next level. Helen's coming in, putting all the infrastructure, the process, the system. I'm coming in to help, recruit and whatever it might be. But that's another thing to circle back to Vietnamese people as a whole. We're the first generation, most of us. Evan grew up here most of the time, but most of the listener will be first generation or second generation Vietnamese. I think that many third generation yet that's ready to be listening to this podcast, right? They're a little bit younger. But we're also one of the fastest to become very successful in America in the shortest period amount of time. So what we have is great strength, but we also have weaknesses. If we do a SWOT analysis, which we do to our own organization, right? Strength, weakness, opportunity, threat, we will find out our strength is also our weakness. Because Vietnamese people by nature, as Evan shared, very hard worker, very motivated, and very smart. But we also came from a culture of survival. For thousands and hundreds of years, we've always survived all these outside forces, things going on all the time, right? Well, when you're survival mode, you'll have this, what I call, scarcity mentality versus abundance. For first generation, I'll throw Helen in there, my parents, I call them hoarder. They'll save anything, right? Because they live through scarcity. They don't want to not have anything. Whereas Evan is more abundant mindset. I'm kind of in the middle, a little bit hybrid. And we want to take that abundant mentality to the Vietnamese community to share with people that if we all learn and share together, we will all be better. And that's for me, like Evan. I'm from Minnesota. I came to America when I was 13. My uncle lived in Minnesota, sponsored me. Very few Vietnamese people in Minnesota compared to California. So I also grew up with not a lot of Vietnamese people. So this allowed me, I share with Helen, she asked me why I want to do this. I'm like Evan, I want to learn and give back to my Vietnamese community because I feel like I kind of been disconnected, and I'm actually learning Vietnamese again. I can understand pretty good, but now I'm learning, words that I forget how to say. So for me, I get to learn from all you guys and give back at the same time. And that's something I love for VNAP to come across for anyone who's listening, that you come be part of VNAP because we can all learn and share. And only then are we all going to be better.
And speaking about learning, if someone kind of listening to this podcast, and if you're new to the business, the one thing that why we found VNARP is now you have a platform, an organization that if you're in this industry, you have to go out and meet somebody. You have to learn from somebody. You have to idolize somebody, right? And from that person, you create a version of yourself. And VNARP is a perfect organization for you to do that. Now, membership is $100 a year. So anyone can afford that, right? So, and when you come to a platform, an organization like this, people that come to that mixer or whatever, they very open to share. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like Unlong, I reached out to him. I know he's very busy, but every time I text him, that I say, Unlong, can we do this tomorrow? He make himself available for tomorrow. Yeah. And then I ask Unlong, I have to change it again. And he make himself available for that. Now, in the real world though, guys, you don't easily get access to Unlong like that.
Right.
Because of this organization, he create availability, he prioritize it for the sake of the organizations. So I feel like if you're a member, you come and you benefit all that. Right?
Yeah.
So I highly recommend if you're watching this episode, if this is your first time and you haven't joined any organization before, this probably should be the first organization you should join.
Yeah, give us a chance to see. One of the things that kind of make a difference to me is, like you said, Enlong has over 800 agents. He's been there, done that. So when we first recruited him to join this, I go, oh man, this guy has so much experience. Why would, we're starting from scratch. I mean, literally, we don't have the infrastructure. So first, I want to thank you and allow to stick with us and actually, give us a hand and actually roll up your sleeve and actually, get in there and actually working with it. I don't know if you know, but Long and I been meeting individually with each of the chapter, and he's going to be their mentor, their leadership mentor, and they really appreciate that a lot. So he has offered to, to meet them on a monthly basis, whatever, a week before their board meeting. So that way, whatever need they have,
then let's transition there a little bit so the audience know a little bit more about Long background and why he's such a qualified candidate to do that. Mm-hmm. So Long, can you talk about your mentorship credential and your background, where you're coming from, and what do you do on a daily basis coaching your team? So can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I kind of shared this before. As human, there's 3 ways we learn, okay? One is considered the easiest way to learn is by imitation. If someone already figured out how to do it, why not just go imitate them? Why go recreate the wheel? Okay. The second way to learn is considered the hardest way to learn is by experience. You have to go through it yourself to learn it. However, if in this platform, we can share our experience as well so that you don't have to go through it yourself, because the best way to learn is someone else's mistake. So you don't have to do it yourself, right? And the third way to learn is considered the most noble is by reflection. Learning everything that you learn from here and then go reflect and see how it worked for you. For me personally, I love to share back and help out, because when I came up, I had to learn from somebody. So this is my way to give back to everybody by sharing my experience, imitate whatever I get to do. And with that being said, I belong to a coaching company that I help coach, people who are trying to grow teams and brokerages. I have my own agent that we do one-on-one coaching with. So this is what I do every day, and I love to do it. And the cool thing about the business is there's not a one-size-fits-all. Okay, everybody has different strengths, weaknesses, opportunity, threats, just system process you surround yourself with, whoever. So just coming in here, imitate, experience yourself, learn someone else's experience, and then reflect on it, and then somehow go back and make it work for you. Well, would that be great to have someone who's already done that for you to tap in? I mean, $100 a year, this is crazy. Just so that you know, on an average, people pay about $3,000 to $4,000 to get me for 2 hours for a month.
Wow!
Okay? So the fact that
but this Riverside live stream is free.
but the fact that Evan and Helen and our leadership team have created something that you all can come and learn, because again, things you learn here you can go apply in your personal life and your professional life. If you're in real estate and your real estate businesses, it's literally things that can apply to make you grow as a better person. And Evan had touched on that before. At the end of the day, you're not trying to be better than somebody else, because you'll be disappointed. I don't care what it is, biking, pickleball, golf, all the thing I'm talking, because you bike, we golf together, and I missed the pickleball, tournament. But no matter what, someone's going to be better than you or someone will be worse than you. Well, that's the definition of average. The best of the worst and the worst of the best. Because you'll never be the best at anything you're trying to do, right? Against somebody else. So then eventually you're going to feel inadequate and all this other thing. But if all you care about is be a better version of yourself every day, and that's what we provide here. Come here and work with us. We'll help you be a better version of yourself, because once you are better at what you do, your business and your life will become better altogether.
Okay, so
one of the things I like, I'm sorry to interrupt. One thing I like about this is that the accessibility. Here is an opportunity for anyone who's listening that we are accessible. Reach out to us. And Long is there, Evan is there, I'm here, we're accessible for whatever it needs to be. And I think that's what you offered to the chapter in OC and also the Silicon Valley. And that's what they really appreciate. You say not only your services, but then whatever they may need, you might reach out to Evan, you might reach out to me specifically. So that's what I like about it, is our accessibility. And you've created this platform, and really appreciate Evan.
And speaking of accessibility, I want to give you a quick example of one of our founding member, Antam Guat, who is very I believe, noble in our industry. He is now part of 3 very big, strong KW offices. Also part of some of the biggest development and investment that I've known of. I mean, Antam have such a heavy hitter, and he himself is a heavy hitter, but he does big transaction, big volume, a lot of knowledge in terms of, because as a broker, you're you're getting a lot of bad, excuse my French, but you get a lot of bad things coming to you, or cases that you have to handle, right?
Right.
So he's a perfect guy to go to learn a lot of things, but he's not that accessible to the public. But because he's part of VNARP and one of the VNARP founders, I have people come to me and say, "Hey, Evan, can you help me get in front of the thumb?" You know what I mean? And for us, it's so easy because it's the text away and then he's respond, right? So that's just one example, guy. But I want to transition us to something a little bit more deeper. I want our Madam Chairwoman, Helen, to talk more about our vision and our mission,
Right.
like why we're here.
Okay. I believe in our vision and mission. We did a acronym for our vision and mission a few years ago. Remember, we had a retreat, and I say, "Hey, use an acronym that's easy for people to remember." So our acronym is CARE, because we care about you. So CARES. So we want to make sure that people have the idea that we are here to cultural, C for culture and enrichment is very important. So we're doing our culture. We are Vietnamese, so we are very proud of our culture. So that's very important to me, cultural enrichment. Okay. The A, advocacy. So why do we have people on the, the different organization to advocate for the Vietnamese people, for advocate us to help our cause. So if we need something, we actually, help people from here go up to Sacramento to help our cause. So that's part of the advocacy, the A. The R, what does the R stand for? Resources. Not only this, if Evan said, "Hey, Evan, can you give me refer a resource for a contractor or whatever?" That's what I'd ask him. Can you give a contractor? So he was a great resource. So we hopefully, as an organization, act as a resource for people. So that's the R, ACAR. Okay. The E, very important. The E is education. Why do we have education? So hopefully, and Long and Evan, we will continue to do more of the education in the next few months. That's part of our strategic plan, to do more education on a national basis so that, people like on this podcast can participate in. And then our last one, besides the education, is the S, social responsibility. So just in December recently, we did a feed hunger event that was very good. We did like Habitat for Humanity. So we want to give back to the community. So that's why we do a social responsibility. So as you can see, the CARES is so important to our mission and our vision. So that's why we want to make sure we promote that. So it's so funny, down in Southern California. So before every board meeting, they always repeat the mission, CARES. So now, especially Thomas won't forget what the S stand for, social responsibility. But it's a lot of fun. But anyway, that's our mission and the vision. So we can hear that.
So allow me to add on why we have such a simple missions, right? A lot of organizations, I think when you're creating such a fancy mission or vision, not every members can buy into it. Every board can buy into it. Because it's such a fancy written, right? At VNARP, we try to keep things as simple as possible. What's all the pillars that we're looking to focus? What's all the pillars that we're looking to create and have impact in our community, the community that we love and serve? So we found this, we create CARES because we want to be the top of those pillars. And that's something that we very passionate about. And you're talking about passion earlier. Right. We create this because we're very passionate about this. And we want every member to come join. And these are the reasons they can come to us for, right? Mm-hmm. Education is something that we focus on heavily because we believe that, by providing relevant and relatable educational information, people can come learn and better themselves. And when they better themselves, they serve back to the community, the same community you and I lived in, right? So that's the reason why we came up such a simple and more powerful vision and mission like this.
Right. But not only that, I think our mission and vision, even though we have that, I also learn from it. So when you have the educational event, I'm still learning from Long. When he spoke last week, and I said, wow, all the information about the Vietnamese people and how big we are and the contribution and all that stuff. So I'm still learning too. It's not just, we're there and we give you guys the information, but I believe it's a two-way street that we learn also from it.
Absolutely.
So.
And for all those listening to this and haven't already joined, definitely should join, because just think back, and I know for me personally, when I was working up the rank, learning how to grow my business and myself, I wished I had someone I can go to. I literally didn't have anybody, right? So every time I found somebody that I'm like, God, that person know what they're doing, I went and tried to say, hey, will you have time to just help me, whatever? And every time they say yes, I remember promising them, my way to pay you back is I will share back what I learned to the next person who wants to learn. So for all of us, wouldn't it be great to have someone to share with you their experience and what they're working so that you can succeed even faster than us? It took us longer to get to here, and yes, we might be where we're at that you're aspiring to go to, but that'd be great if you can get there even faster than us. Because for me personally, I feel like our generation need to help the next generation be even better than us. And the way we do that is share back what worked for us and what didn't work for us. More importantly, what didn't work for us, so you can avoid the same mistakes, so you can learn even faster.
We also learn, but we also have fun. I mean, we became a family, literally. So we take care of each other, and that's very important. That people can learn, okay, then they go home. But here, I feel like, he's like a brother to me. You're like a brother to me. That, they always call me Helen. But it means a lot to me that we have that camaraderie and the fun with it too. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's whenever you join a community or you join an organization, you're going to create relationship and bonding. I say the same thing to our sponsor, and I say, don't just write us checks, get involved, right? Because at the end of the day, we pick up the phone and call and send a referral to someone that we have, connection with, or right. We feel like we want that person to do good. If that person top producer, we want them to be top producer. And at the end of the day, don't just write checks, get involved. Become a member, become an active member, and volunteers. One nice thing about VNARP, and I can share that throughout, chapters that we could talk about that in just a little bit,
right.
A different chapters.
Right.
But anyone that have an idea and they want to execute a certain idea, the beauty with VNARP is they'll bring that to VNARP board meeting and present that to the board. And the board bless that, everyone get majority vote, and we execute and we all work together. And that takes me back to an example that I want to share. One of our members shared an idea about doing Fight Hunger for VNARP. And I remember the first event, it was just a small group of people got together and we packaged like 15,000 meals, really small at our office. But it started out, and from there, we went from 15,000 meals to like 200,000 plus meal in one day.
Wow.
So that's the exponential growth of quality people getting together, executing one person idea, because that person idea is something that everyone loves to do.
Right.
And they feel like that is something that we can give back to the community. And Fight Hunger now becomes an event annually that people look forward to, bringing their family. I'm in the Boy Scout. I bring the Boy Scouts out. I feel like they need community hours, but also something meaningful to give back. Packaging a meal for someone that more needed than we are, especially during a time of Thanksgiving where we have abundance of food, right? Versus places somewhere in the world that they counting on the one package meal
right.
that we're putting together that worth 45 cents.
Right.
So that's the ideas behind it, is bring your idea to VNARP and execute it together. And this is the platform for that.
Also, your Fight Hunger, you expanded to the Houston chapter and the
It's
OC
national.
chapter. It was their first time.
Yes.
And they really enjoy that, and they want to continue to do more. So that was very first, and they see how rewarding it is. So that's another thing. And then they'll talk about ideas. This last time we had this installation last week, and I knew that one of our national board member owns a pickleball court. And I said, hey, let's do a pickleball thing the next day. So boom, we made it happen, and everybody really enjoyed it. And now people are taking it and they want to do a summer, summer tournaments and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So like you said, the idea is just start small, but then I like it because people don't shut us down. They said, hey, let's go for it and see what happens. And everybody just jump on it. That's what I like. And I really appreciate that. Provide that, I don't come up with that many ideas, but when you guys let me execute my ideas, just like,
but just think about it. Vietnamese people have become very successful, and we won't even working together. Can you imagine we all work together, how much farther we can even go? And the cool thing about where VNAP is going is we just started mostly, of course, in California. That's where the highest number of Vietnamese people. Now we're going to Houston. We have expansion planned into, Seattle, Dallas, Washington, D.C., regionally into, Northeast, the South, the Midwest, now globally into Canada, different country, and Vietnam. So, if you guys are listening, you are part of our Vietnamese community, whether you in real estate or not, you should definitely learn to be in real estate anyway as an investor if you're not a professional, because real estate creates generational wealth in America, all this great benefit that we want to help our Vietnamese community even be better than we already are. And that's our passion, and that's what we're all about. And that's why CARES is our acronym and our mission statement and our core values.
So speaking of where we're going, let's transition to where we are today and where we're looking to do at national level in the next year or so. So can you share about some of the things, the last success in the event that we did, which is the national retreat event. And that was the first national retreat that we brought all the chapter together. Right. Can you give a quick 2-minute recap of that event and also where we're going with that?
So it was our first time that we had the national leadership, we call it Leadership Summit. We had Southern California, Houston, and national member here. And we had very, very powerful leaders, which is Anh Long Đoàn and Trường Ngô from Houston and Lang from Minnesota. And they led the whole seminar the whole day. And we broke out into different groups. And we not only learned, but we also have some ideas as to where we want to go. So we shared the strategic plan with everyone. We also have some bonding. That was a very bonding activity. That was a lot of fun. Remember that in the back there? But then we also have, talent show in the back at the end of the night. We had some of the people cooking for us. So actually it was very, and then we wrote everything on the board, and I had feedback from everyone, and everyone, +5, +5, +5. They give us high scores. And at the end of the day, they say it was very eye-opening for them. But not only that, one of the person, I won't mention name, he was very skeptical, joining VNARP and being on the board and all that stuff. But I think after that event, he came back up to me and he said, Helen, I can't believe what you guys pulled off. I learned so much and so many, so eye-opening for me. I've been to a lot of, he's a very seasoned realtor, but I've been to a lot of the event, but this one here with the Vietnamese group and what you've done here is unbelievable. So at the same time, I want to take the opportunity to thank Anh Long and Trường Ngô, for doing an amazing job. You guys have good synergy.
Yeah, I love to add to that. That was a great event, my first one, of course, and I look forward to having more. But one thing I will say is that growth cannot happen in isolation. If you're kind of out there by your own, on your own, it's harder to grow. But in a community like this, you can learn and grow and network because we're in a people business, right? So your network is your net worth is your network. The more you know, all the referral that can come out, all the things you learn. So what I love about that besides learning a lot about different things, is just learning about the people. So we all got to know each other. We had a good time. We spent time together, kind of the Vietnamese way. I think we had, 18 people staying at the house that Evan was graciously let us use. But that's just the way it was, right? The culture piece, the whole thing. I mean, all the core values were hit that one weekend.
Yeah, we have a lot of them. And even actually, as a matter of fact, when we had our welcome dinner the night before, and Tino's shared with us that she does, flash mob or whatever. Oh, yeah. So that was kind of cool. I said, hey, that's a good idea. Tino, can you do a quick flash mob for the national? And that was fun. We're all like going this and that. And so that was, it's right after lunch, right? So it woke up everybody, and it was just like little things like that. But it really helped us bond a lot, don't you think?
Well, for me, the biggest takeaway for me as one of the founding member was a very humbling experience because as I mentioned, to get everyone from all different places in one room, like back then, it's hard to get us to work together. But, that was just all of us in one room, different brokers, different, these are top producer, right? These are the people that are dominating in that market area, flying in, spend some time here, a couple of days together to bond, to learn about leadership, to do what? Why do you have to come learn about nonprofit leadership? Yeah. And they're doing so well already in the industry. Right. Why do they do that? And for me, it was a humbling to feel that they're coming together because they care. They wanted to learn about leadership so they can be better themselves and give it back in the community. They're not getting paid for that. They pay to be there. They flew in, to be there away from their families to go a couple of days. Right. So they care. They want to give back to the community. And that to me was the most takeaway.
Yeah, my takeaway was that all the different varieties of people, they really take care of each other. And at the end of the day, they all learned something. And they all came up to me and they said, thank you. We have a lot of things to take away. So I think it was very productive for that leadership. As a matter of fact, they want to do it for everybody in their board. And they want to do it more than on their survey. They say, can we do it, more than once a year? So that says something, right? So that's good though. That is positive, right? So hopefully we'll do it more often.
And that's why this platform is created, to get even more people to be a part of it, because we know there's even better leaders and more experienced people out there than we already are. So as Evan grows this thing, he keep adding and more people that is better than the one before, right? And that's the whole reason for growth. You want to bring in someone who's even better. So we're challenging. We're looking for someone who's like, I'm Long, he's nothing. Helen, I'm way better than those guys. Please come and join us. We need to learn from you guys. So that's who we're looking for, as well as those who want to learn from us. Because as you learn and you grow, our goal is to help you be even better than us, so you can help the Vietnamese community to even become more successful, because more and more Vietnamese actually are coming to live in America now. And now also in Vietnam, conditions are changing. So we're going to be working very closely with Vietnamese people as well back in Vietnam. And there's just a lot of opportunity for all of us. And this platform will give you many, many different benefits than just, the cares.
For those people that don't understand why they need to join an organization and why a nonprofit real estate organization, I want to share that, you can pick any organization and join. Right. It doesn't have to be VNARP, but if you're in the industry, you need to kind of have a plugged in somewhere, right? Where you meet people and be inspired by certain stories. Cause there's so many times that I sat down at a big conference and I am inspired by somebody. And that's what got me to keep going where I'm going. And then 20 years deep into the business, we still need to learn. But VNARP, we have gotten to the level. I mean, we're not new anymore. We're hybrid, if you will. We're 8 years deep, and we're now at a stage where we attract talent. Right. People that wants to say, okay, now you got my attention, right? Now I like where you're going. And then they get to, once we attract them, they read our mission and okay, that makes sense. Okay. It's simple enough for me to follow and easy enough for me to say, okay, I can do that. Right. And, now we attract talent and then what I'm calling is calling talent. If you have something to give back, June is a perfect example. Right. He is a CEO, founder for many different companies he's leading. And why VNARP? Like he's coming and he say, okay, that organization need to level up, and I'm going to help them with that. So he jumped in and he said, let's do a SWOT analysis, and let's break it down, your strengths, weaknesses, and understand them. And we spent a lot of weeks doing that. Yeah, we did. So that to me is that now VNARP is at the stage where we're calling all talent, calling sponsors. If you believe in our vision and mission and you're looking for a community that is tight, that is giving back and quality people working together, and you want to send your money to the right place, this is the organization, right? I'm not saying that because I'm part of it. I'm saying that because we're passionate about what we're doing. And if you're looking to give your money, you want to give to someone that's passionate about what they're doing, right? Right.
Yeah, I'm very, like you said, the passion is what does it. And you're right. I know right off the top of my head a couple of people who joined maybe because they were voluntold to join for whatever reason. But I think after they join and they see the result of what transpired and what they get out of it more than that, what they give. So they want to be there. I noticed the change right away. They step up to the plate.
Correct.
And I thank you again, Evan, for the opportunity to see the change. And that one of the things that touched my feelings is that I made a difference. At the end of the day, I made a difference in someone's life. Okay. Yeah. And I changed them and hopefully for the better. So that really encouraged me to give more.
Should we tell that story, how I got you to join the organizations?
I'm a cheap date.
So because, I told you, Helen, that 10 years from now, we're going to go back to this story. But again, we might not be here 10 years from now, right? So that's what this recording is all about. Right. Okay. So you want to tell the story?
No, you can tell it. It's your story. Go ahead.
All right. So I think you tell it better.
No. I think you tell it better.
Okay. All right. So, at the Wheelchair Foundations, I heard Helen speak on the podium. She was very passionate, and she was very good at getting people to donate money for the wheelchair. And I myself got up and donated a wheelchair, right? So after that, and I came down, I knew your husband at the time because him and I did an event together.
I see.
So I pull him aside and I say, Anjet, can I get your wife I have this organization that I found I'm part of, and it's real estate focused. And I know he's not in real estate, so that's why I say, can you connect me with your wife? I really want her to come and check out this organization. And Helen was so busy at the time already, and she's voluntold for a lot of things, and so. I say, get me in front of her. Let me get a chance. And I remember Anjet was kind of like challenged me.
Yeah, he did.
He was like, okay, fine. I don't know if you can get her. No one can get her. But if you can get her, you'll be very good, right? So I said, okay, challenge accepted, right? So one day we happened to be at another fundraiser on a boat, right?
Yeah.
And I went over and I bought her a drink.
Yeah.
And what drink was it?
Pisco Sour.
Pisco Sour. So I was like, hey, what's your favorite drink? I want to buy you a drink. Okay. Oldest trick in the book of picking up a lady, right? So.
Hey.
and I bought everyone that she's along with drinks too. And I say, let me buy everyone around a drink. And then what's your favorite drink? You say Pisco Sour. And after we bought a drink, we were waiting to get into the fundraiser. I put her aside and I said, I want to talk to you about a nonprofit organization. And I told her this precisely. And I say, Helen, I've studied you. You've done 30 years of your life in commercial real estate. We are a startup nonprofit real estate focused organization that laser focus into better education of Vietnamese community. Right. And I'm telling you right now, myself, I don't know much about commercial real estate, right? I've done some transaction, but I was swinging it, right? But you have 30 years of experience. You can't take all that with you.
That's right. You said that. You did say that.
I say you can't take all that with you. Right? You need a place where you can give back. But don't you afraid that once you're gone, no one else can take care of those, commercial transaction, right?
Right.
So don't you want to give back to somebody?
Right.
And I have a platform and I want you to plug in and give back, right?
Right. You did.
And you say, let me think about it.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
So it's, so for people watching this to run a nonprofit organization, it's really hard to get people to volunteer at the beginning. Because what's in it for them?
Exactly.
And it takes a lot of time. I remember you asking how often we meet, what do we have? How many members do we have? And I don't have good numbers to share, right? We just started out. We don't have infrastructure. We did a crazy event. We're known for some of the best education event, best parties in town.
Right.
But that's all we're known for.
Yeah. The parties.
But we couldn't scale the organization. And to scale, you have to go back to your fundamental. Yep. And what I was really good at the time, I knew what we don't have, right? So I went out and I reached out to see Helen. I saw her and I said, okay, she is one of the person that we need. We hadn't done, but he needs help, right? Mm-hmm. So we started putting pieces together. And that day, since you joined, there's a lot of time that we fight, we butt head, right? we
I almost quit a couple of times too. Remember? I was like, okay, I'm done. Remember that? Because, since I'm so passionate about it, so I have very strong feeling about certain things, but he's the calm one. He said, why don't you wait, go on your vacation, then come back and think about it. So he's like he's very good.
I'm your equalizer.
Yeah, he is. Cause when I feel about something, I was like, but anyway, we have a good time.
So want to ask Long to chime in on that too. Whenever we start a nonprofit organization, it's really difficult because a lot of prominent individual, I can't get them to join a nonprofit organization and give back because they're very busy, they're very prominent, right? It's really hard for them to say, hey, I want you to come and speak and teach all my members, right? And let alone become a chairwoman or a board director, right? So as a nonprofit, how do you think we should scale? How do you think we attract talent like yourself? Why do you come join VNARP?
Yeah, and you're totally right. It's any business anyway, but even more challenging for nonprofit because that same question that you pose, what's in it for me? Or what's in it for us is the ability to get to learn, to grow as a person, but also give back. Because when you give back, you sometimes get more than you give back, right? That's a great thing about being part of nonprofit. But yet, if you're a Vietnamese person in the real estate space, there's no better platform to be on here. And it helped us all grow, because with any nonprofit or any organization, when you first started, there's like whoever got all started, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 people. And then you kind of like, okay, we have 10 of you and we have 10 different jobs. So you get this job, you get this job, you get this job. So now it's not qualified to do the job, but you volunteer to do the job because someone had to do it. So as nonprofit, the challenge is, and that's why we're asking for you guys to all step in to say, hey, I'm the CPA. I will be good at helping with, of that part of it. I'm in marketing. I would be great with helping with marketing, social media, whatever it might be. So I encourage all you guys to check out all nonprofit, of course, but especially the VNARP. If you are, serving the Vietnamese community, you're in real estate, you'll learn more about real estate. Because the real estate space, you guys, is 17% of the U.S. GDP come from the real estate sector. And many people involved in real estate. You got your real estate people, mortgage people, title, escrow, mover, stager, photographer, insurance, you name it, right? Plumber, appraiser, inspector, many, 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 many people. So that's why this organization is actually could be a really good fit for a lot of people who are in the real estate space, not just the professional, but also the investor themselves, or if you also want to learn how to own a home and whatnot. So come be a part of this, learn it, help us all grow. So then as we grow, you grow. And that's my call to action for anybody listening out there. If you yourself is a real estate professional, you know someone who's a real estate professional, tell them, check out this podcast. I'm sure we will put on call to action at some point, right? This is where you go, click on this link. I really want you guys to learn more about it. And I encourage you to come and be part of this with us in this journey, to learn together and give back and share together.
Well, this is the rare podcast because we don't often do this. And this is our first time recording ourselves, sharing our vision and mission, and talking to our national chairwoman. Myself is the vice chairman, one of the founding member, and Long Dong, who's also our national advisor. So these are the podcasts that we've been wanting to put together, to put out there for our members to kind of hear the whole entire story. Sometimes we meet you at the event, right, and we kind of spark the conversation and share a little bit, but it's not in depth. Right. And that's the purpose of this recording, is to kind of share things in depth. And I'm looking forward to record more episodes like this. Alon and I is going to be the host, and we're going to bring in more speakers. And we believe that we're going to bring in speakers not only in the organization, but outside the organizations that can bring values to our members. And that become a value proposition for our members to join VNARP. Because at VNARP, we want to share more and more and more overloaded information. And we believe that's only going to better your business. So with that, I'd like to conclude this podcast. And thank you so much, Alon. Thank you so much, Helen, for being on this. And we're looking forward to see you at the next episode.
Thank you.
All right. Bye. Thank you.